Have you ever felt lost, constantly seeking validation, or bending over backwards to fit others' expectations? It's exhausting, isn't it? Without having a solid sense of self-worth, it is so easy to feel drained and also disconnected from who you truly are. So in this video, we are going to talk about how you can rebuild that relationship with yourself to cultivate self-love, confidence, and peace, because the relationship you have with yourself is the foundation for everything else in your life. When we talk about self-love, we often think about the pretty pink stuff, you know, the bubbles and the face masks. And those things definitely matter. I mean, having a nice self-care night is a must in my routine, but there's something that makes an even bigger change in your life. And that is the way that you act and feel on a daily basis. So in this video, we will talk about some mindset changes as well as actions that you can do in order to improve your self-love and your relationship with yourself. You know, you don't have to be the best. I grew up being such a perfectionist. I wanted to be the best at everything and anything, and it would feel like such a big failure if I wouldn't do something perfectly. And this also spilled over into my adult life, but in an even worse way, because at least when I was young, I would start things and do them just because they were fun. But in my adult life, I started to not start things if I didn't know how to do them perfectly. So if I wanted to, let's say, start my social media journey, I just didn't do it for a very long time because I didn't have it all figured out. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't have like good camera gear. I was just waiting for the perfect moment, for the moment where I could execute it perfectly. What I didn't realize is that I deserve to start something for the fun of it. I deserve to start something just because I want to. And it does not have to be perfect. Not being perfect doesn't make me a failure. Not being perfect doesn't mean I'm less than. It doesn't impact my worth. The thing is, it just got to a point where I was so frozen in wanting to be perfect and not starting things because they weren't perfect, and I was afraid that they're not gonna be perfect. And I came to the realization that my fear of being perfect was actually keeping me from doing anything at all. Like, I didn't even give myself a chance to do something even good enough because I was always chasing perfection. The fact that you're not doing something sets you back way more than if you would be doing something that is, you know, fine but not perfect. And this also ties in with self-love and the relationship you have with yourself. Because we are often told while growing up that in order to get love and appreciation from certain people, like for instance teachers at school, we need to be perfect and we need to be the best and we need to do everything perfectly. And if we tie our sense of self-worth to how perfect we are, that's probably gonna lead to us feeling very miserable because it is so hard to be perfect at everything. And that shouldn't even be the goal. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to do stuff, to figure it out along the way, to maybe do things really badly just to have fun. Like, if you cannot sing, but you love to sing, do it. I don't think I have a painting talent. However, I really like painting. I think it's really relaxing. And this is an exercise I've been doing recently, just doing things even if I'm not good at them. Because it can be fun to make mistakes and to not even try to be perfect. So next time you're holding yourself back from doing something because you're afraid it might not turn out perfect, just go for it. Just start it. Trust yourself that you will figure it out, and tell yourself that you deserve love and you deserve success and you deserve happiness, even if you're not perfect. All of those good things are not only reserved for perfect people, they're for everyone, and you deserve them. It's really bad for you if you only give yourself love when you're being perfect. You deserve to love yourself when you're not being perfect, when you're making mistakes. Especially in those moments, you need that love from yourself and also from others. You need to be compassionate with yourself and realize that being perfect or not being perfect doesn't impact your worth at all. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for being a paid partner of this video. If you're feeling overwhelmed by expectations, either from yourself or from others, or you're stuck in your current situation, or even anxious about falling behind in life, therapy can help. A therapist can really help you untangle the external pressure from your inner values and also help you break down those unspecific feelings of being behind in life into really specific and addressable concerns. They can give you tools to measure progress on your terms and process the feelings of comparing yourself to others and feeling less than. I personally used BetterHelp a few years ago before I even started this channel, so this is really a full circle moment for me and I'm so glad they've reached out. And it was the best thing I could have done for myself. myself back then. BetterHelp is fully online, so therapy feels more comfortable as well as convenient. You just fill out a quick questionnaire and you will be matched with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. Plus, if it's not the right fit, switching therapists is simple and also it's free, which I personally really appreciated during my own journey because sometimes the chemistry is just not right. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. Start fresh any day of the year. So click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Maria Trapan to get 10% off your first month of therapy. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. And now let's get back to the juicy stuff. This thing is something that I have done for years in the past, and I didn't even realize how bad it was for my sense of self-worth and for my relationship with myself. I would constantly promise myself things, but then not do them. And a lot of times these things weren't even big promises. There were things like, I will wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. I just wouldn't do that. Or I will not procrastinate studying this week. I would not do that. What I didn't notice at that time was that making these promises and then always failing to keep them was just eating away at my belief in myself. I was slowly but very surely starting to think that I was not capable of keeping my promises. And doing this over a long time literally shatters any sense of trust that you have in yourself. This whole circle of starting something and saying, I will finally keep my promise, I will finally do this, and then not keeping my promise. Then being sad for a time, but then again, starting again and promising to myself that this time it's gonna be different, and then not doing that. All of that takes a huge toll on you. And of course it makes sense because if a friend would be doing that to you, you would also feel disappointed by them, you wouldn't trust them, you might even feel betrayed by them. And this is exactly what happens in your relationship with yourself. There is a very straightforward way to fix this. It's just making a promise and then keeping that. And then continuing to do that, because then you turn that negative circle into a positive circle. It is not easy to wake up at 5 a.m. It is not easy to go work out all the time. You might not feel like it sometimes, but you need to really think about this. If you say you will do something, you must follow through. That's how you build a better relationship with yourself. That's how you learn that you can trust yourself, that you will show up for yourself. When you keep a promise, you show yourself that you are worthy of the effort. Working out is not always easy. Sometimes it's literally the last thing you want to do, but you know that it's probably the best thing for you. And when you work out, even if it feels hard, you reaffirm the belief that you are worthy of difficult things, that you are worthy of putting in the effort even when it is difficult. Also, what I think is crazy is oftentimes we don't do things for ourselves that we would do for others. If you have a job that requires you to be there at 8 a.m., you are gonna be there at 8 a.m. If you promise a friend that you're gonna help them move, you're gonna go and help them move, even if you don't feel like it, right? I mean, you're not gonna cancel on your friend. But then, if you need to wake up early for yourself, you don't do it. If you need to go and just move your body for yourself, you don't do it because it's so easy to break our promises to ourselves, but we don't realize how bad it is for us. And so this is an action, but it's also a mindset shift. Start by realizing how bad it is to break the promises you make to yourself. And then the action that you can do and you should start with is to just make small promises to yourself that you will 100% keep. It can be as little as waking up 10 minutes earlier tomorrow. Just show yourself that if you say you're gonna do something, you will do that. And then from there, you can go further and make bigger promises, aim higher, but just start somewhere. You need to prioritize yourself without any guilt. And that also means saying no to the things you don't want to do because they make you feel uncomfortable, because they make you feel stressed, because you don't have the time for it, or just because you don't want to. That is a good enough reason to say no. Caring for yourself doesn't make you selfish. It is okay to say no to plans if you just don't feel up to them. It is also okay to distance yourself from people who just absolutely drain you. It is okay to have boundaries, to set them, and to reinforce them. Because you deserve to live in peace. You deserve to enjoy your environment, and you deserve to not go out with people who are just energy-sucking vampires, which just drain your energy literally bit by bit. Think about the advice you would give to a friend if they would tell you that, they made a plan, but they don't want to see this person because this person has been behaving horrible towards them, or this person is just draining, and they just don't want to see that person. You would probably tell that friend, well, just don't go, say this, say that, I can do it for you, I can talk to that person for you if you want to. Just think about how much you would show up for that person in order to help your friend set their boundaries and not put themselves in a position where they are just not feeling good and getting their energy drained. Do that for yourself as well. I mean, you also deserve to live in peace and to do things you enjoy. And saying no feels so empowering, and it strengthens the relationship with yourself because you show yourself, again, that you don't deserve to be in bad situations. You don't deserve to put yourself in situations that you know you're not gonna like. You show yourself that you deserve to be respected. Your time deserves to be respected. Your energy deserves to be respected. Everything about you, every single piece about you deserves to be respected. But you need to reinforce that, and you need to show up for yourself the same way you would do with a friend. While it might be hard sometimes to reinforce these boundaries, sometimes this also means stepping back from relationships, friendships, acquaintances you've had for a while, and maybe you have some good memories with them. If those relationships are just draining you, they are disrespectful to you, you deserve to step back. You deserve to not spend your time with those people. You deserve to put yourself first. And that doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't make you egoistic. It doesn't, Putting yourself first doesn't make you a bad person. One of the scariest things you can do is to get out of your comfort zone. It is called your comfort zone because it's where you feel comfortable. And getting out of that, even just by a little bit, sometimes feels so scary. I used to feel so uncomfortable going to things by myself. I used to feel so uncomfortable when I would have to talk in front of people. Even if it was people that I knew, like I suddenly felt like I couldn't really breathe, I couldn't really focus. It was like my brain was getting foggy. Since then, I've grown, I've worked on myself. Now I love going out alone, doing things by myself, going to workout classes alone, going to the cinema alone, just having a good solo date. I've also spoken in front of a bunch of people that I haven't even met before about topics I wasn't fully comfortable with in a language that I don't love speaking. And you know what? I survived all of that. And that is because in the past, I just kept pushing myself out of my comfort zone bit by bit by bit. And that strengthened the relationship that I have with myself. By slowly getting out of your comfort zone, you grow. And you show yourself that you are capable of such difficult things. You show yourself that those things that just seem impossible at a point are not that impossible anymore once you just do them. If you're scared of talking to people, you don't need to go from that to just having a talk in front of hundreds of people. You can just start slow. Talk to people you know, then talk to acquaintances, then maybe you can start going up to people you don't know well, but you maybe have some like common interests with them. Maybe you can start going alone to some events like networking events, parties, or just workout classes and having small talk with people there. Just bit by bit by bit, because every single time you do one of these things that feels so scary, but you show yourself that it's actually not that bad. You improve your relationship to yourself, you improve the confidence that you have in yourself, and you show yourself that you are capable of getting over the scariest things, and that will help you to grow even further and do even more difficult things. Do nice things for yourself. Give yourself the princess treatment you deserve, because we all want someone to treat us well, right? We want our friends, our partner to treat us well. We want to get flowers, we want to get little gifts. But what about how we treat ourselves? I'm such a big believer that you should treat yourself the way you want to be treated. That also makes other people more likely to treat you well. It makes you love yourself so much more, because you are literally giving love to yourself by fulfilling all of these small wishes that you have, like getting flowers. If someone else doesn't get flowers for you, you can. If someone else doesn't take you out on coffee dates or buys you books, but you want to get that, do that for yourself. Even if you do get that from someone else, you can still do that for yourself. Treat yourself like you are the love of your life, because you are the love of your life. You deserve to love yourself and to show yourself that you love yourself. If that is by giving yourself little gifts or doing activities that really just heal your inner child, I don't know, going to a trampoline park, doing fun stuff, whatever that might be, painting, do that for you. Whatever it is you want to do it for yourself. Also, this I think is a really unpopular opinion because everyone argues about this. But I believe that doing the unnecessary things can really help you improve your self-love. Like yeah, you might not need to buy coffee in the city because you have coffee at home. But you know what? If buying that coffee and just spending an hour drinking that coffee and enjoying life and doing something nice for myself, if that makes me happier, I'm gonna do it. I mean, that is so worth it. And I really believe that you shouldn't cheap out on things that really just strengthen the relationship you have to yourself. And I'm definitely not talking about being financially irresponsible, because I don't think that is good. And I will argue with anyone and everyone who says otherwise. I'll even make you a graph showing the utility of that purchase relative to the cost of a coffee. Let's talk about mindset, and let's start strong with the fact that how you are perceived is not your problem. It's not your task, it's not on your to-do list. You shouldn't even bother with it. We destroy the relationship we have with ourselves because we're not being authentic, because we're trying to fit in and to please other people. And you might not want to hear this, but you need to let go of the need to control how other people perceive you, because you will never be able to control that. And honestly, you shouldn't even try to. It's just exhausting and it's unnecessary. What others think of you is a reflection of them, not you. You can be the kindest, sweetest, most beautiful soul on the entire earth, and you will still have a random person who might not even know you that will judge you and will hate you from the bottom of their heart. And you know what? That is fine. If someone wants to judge you, they will judge you anyway. They will literally find the smallest things that they can. They will literally just imagine things if they don't find anything. But look, I have good news. That is fine. You don't have to care. You don't have to be bothered by it in any way, shape, or form, because you do not control someone else's perception of you. You control how you see yourself. And that is the only thing that matters. All you can do is to be a good, loving, genuine person. A person you are proud to be. A person that loves herself. That is all you need. You don't need someone else's opinion. You don't need someone else's validation. You don't need someone else's reassurance that you are a good person. If you are true to yourself and you're authentic and you are loving and kind and everything, that is enough. But there's a really good book to read, and that is The Courage to be Disliked. Because yes, it takes courage to be disliked, but it is 100% worth it. Social expectations like status, money, achievements often change our perception of how much we're worth and how much we think we are worth. But the thing is, your worth isn't tied to what you own, to what you've achieved, to how you look. It is tied to who you are deep inside as a person. It doesn't matter if you have $1 million or $1. It doesn't matter if you are really, really pretty or you're not really considered to fit the typical beauty standard. Your worth is not tied to some accomplishments or the amount of money you make. Your worth exists because you exist. So you know what? Right now, take out a piece of paper, take out your journal, take out your notes app, and write down 5 things that you love about yourself that have nothing to do with anything that is external. Nothing to do with what your degree is or what your job title is or where you live or anything like that. Just 5 things that you love about yourself that would exist even if something would happen and all of your accomplishments would be just stripped away from you. If you would remain with nothing, what would you still have? Those are the things you should love about yourself, because those are the things that no one can take away from you. Tragedies happen, things can happen. You might lose all of your money one day, you might lose your job, you might lose your social status, but there are things that no one can take away from you. And that is where your worth actually comes from. It comes from how kind of a person you are, how empathetic you are, your emotional intelligence, your ability to love yourself and also other people. Those things. You deserve love. And that is not something that is conditional. That is not something that can be debated. That is not an opinion of mine. That is a fact. There's no question about this. Like, you deserve love and you need to tell that to yourself. Say that in the mirror. Tell that to yourself like 10 times a day, whatever is necessary, until you believe it. You need to love yourself despite your flaws and imperfections. Because think about it. The people that you love, you don't love them because they're perfect. You don't love them because they don't have any flaws. You love them unconditionally. There's no question that you love them. There's no discussion. There's no room for discussion. You just love them because you do. Do the same with yourself because you deserve that. And there are practical ways you can do that. You can journal about things that you might not love about yourself right now and learn to love those. Learn to love your imperfections. learn to love yourself the way that you are. You can have self-care evenings where you just enjoy your own presence, you enjoy yourself, you take care of yourself, you do the bubble baths and the masks. But throughout it all, the lesson is that you deserve love and you deserve unconditional love from yourself. Building a relationship with yourself is not an overnight process. It's not just gonna happen in an instant, but if you keep doing the things that we talked about, and if you keep reaffirming the beliefs that you are worthy of love and you deserve love, in a while you will look back and realize how quickly everything changed. Be gentle with yourself and be patient throughout the whole process. But most importantly, be proud of every step that you take towards loving yourself. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!